If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hands, O King. But if not, be it known unto thee, O King, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Thank you so much. When your faith is in the fire, when your faith is in the fire, help me say, when your faith is in the fire. The scene opened with three young men that have encountered something that none of us would want to happen to our children. They've been confiscated, kidnapped, taken from their homes in Jerusalem and carried away to a place called Babylon. Some mother, some father is now sitting wondering, where are their children? They're gone. They know where they don't have no idea where they are. They have disappeared. They carried them away to a strange land. Not only did they carry them away, they decided to indoctrinate them in their own culture. They set out to do two things to them: change their diet and change their names. As quiet as it is kept, the best way to brainwash a person, if you can change their identity and change what they hunger after, you're already a head and shoulder above the rest. They wanted to allow them to eat meat from the king's table. However, the meat that the king used was meat that had been offered to idol gods, and yet they wanted to feed that to these young men. As quiet as it is kept, your diet has a lot to do with longevity. You can actually eat yourself into the grave. If you watch, and I've mentioned it a number of times, in Genesis chapter 5, when you read the lifespan of the people on planet Earth, Genesis 5:5, so all the days of Adam was 930 years, and he died. Genesis 5, verse 8, all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Genesis 5, verse 11, all the days of Enoch were 905 years, and he died. Genesis 5:14, all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. Genesis 5:17, all the days of Mahalalel was 885 years, and he died. Genesis 5:20, all the days of Japheth was 962 years, and he died. Genesis 5:27, all the days of Methuselah was 969 years, and he died. Genesis 5:31, all the days of Lamech was 777 years, and he died. That was before we start eating meat. After we start eating meat, in Genesis 25:7, it said, and Abraham lived 175 years, and he died. From 900 to 100 because of diets. The Bible said in Genesis 1:29 that herbs should be for our meat. In other words, you can kill yourself at the table. Because if you notice now, we eat casual. We eat stuff we shouldn't eat. It's not just enough to have turnip greens. We have to put fat back in it. We say to flavor it. We don't just eat an apple a day, which have about 50 calories. We take the apple and make apple pie. And one slice have 500 calories in it. And we don't just eat one slice, we eat the whole pie. And we wonder why is it that we're dying so soon. It could be at the table. We rush somewhere to get oxtails. When was the last time you saw an ox? Y'all not talking back to me. We allow the table to take us out. Great big old sister was standing at the bus stop, and the bus pulled up, and she kept trying to get on the bus and trying to get on, but she's a little too heavy to step up. That little bitty man was standing right next to her, and she looked over and said, if you was a half of a man, you would help me get on this bus. He said, if you was a half of a woman, you wouldn't need no help. We allow diets to take us out. But not only did they change that diet, they wanted to change their identity. They decided to change their names. You see, their names were Hananiah, Misha, and Azariah. The name Hananiah means God is our help. The name Misha means God is a strong God. Azariah means God is gracious. They changed the name from Hananiah to Shadrach. They changed the name of Misha to Meshach. They changed the name of Azariah to Abednego, that represented sun gods and moon gods. They changed their name. But the thing that I love about the text is that apparently the parents taught them to fear God before they were kidnapped. You see, we have to teach our children to take a stand for something. Because if they don't stand for something, they'll fall for anything. Whenever you see young boys and young girls doing everything they're big enough to do, now they are incorporated right here in the city of Memphis. Little boys from the age 11 to 17 years of age, they're teaching them how to go out and steal cars and say if you get caught, they're going to let you right back out anyway because you're underage. The problem with that, you're going to face it down the road. You see, you don't get away with foolishness like this, and our whole parents are responsible for, you should never have to wonder where this boy come from. They got a mom and daddy somewhere. Talk to me, somebody. An 11-year-old out stealing a car, and you get upset as soon as somebody shoot him. You want to walk the streets and block traffic. Don't get mad with the boy, get mad with the parents. Because we have to learn how to teach our children while they are young to have values and stand for something. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should be. When he is old, he will not depart from it. Not you, he'll leave you, but he won't depart from the teaching. You see, if you teach children while they're young, thou shalt not steal, it's embedded in them. They have enough sense to know that that don't belong to me. You have a witness. I stole one time that I can remember in my life. I was about 6 years of age, and we walked up to the store, me and my sister Lily. The store was about a half a mile from the house, and they left me in the store. They was in the back doing whatever they're doing, and that was a little peanut cracker thing sitting there staring me in the face, said, "Get me." I got that peanut butter cracker. Instead of going around behind the store eating it, I carried it home. I took it to the house, and when I got there, I went in the dresser drawer, opened the middle drawer, hid it up under some clothes. And I don't know how Mama found it. It wasn't in there 30 minutes before she came back. She said, "Frank Edward, do you know where this came from?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Why you get it?" I said, "Lady at the store gave it to me." She wouldn't take my word for it. She said, "Lily, take Frank back up to the store and ask the lady at the counter, did she give this to Frank?" Lily took me back up to the store. She's 18 months older than I am. She carried me back. We walked up to the store, and she asked the lady, said, "Did you give this to Frank?" She said, "No, I didn't give it to him." She said, "Okay, thank you." She left it there, came on back to the house just laughing and grinning. I thought my sister was gonna stand for me. And got on back to the house. Mama, she didn't give it to him. Mama beat the living daylights out of me. But that wasn't enough. She told Daddy. And Daddy waited till I got up the next morning, and I had them long underwears with the flop in the back. Daddy unflopped the flop and beat me to dear death. It hurt, but I ain't never stole nothing since. We have to discipline our children and prepare them for what could happen tomorrow, because temptation is great. These young men now, they have been captured, carried to a place called Babylon. Then watch the king. The king made an image of gold. It was 90 feet high, 9 feet wide. It glittered. The king, King Nebuchadnezzar, wanted to be worshipped himself. So he built a statue and demanded that everybody worship the statue. He said, at the sound of the music, I want every knee to bow and worship this golden image. The Bible says that at the sound of the music mean that the king dealt with their emotions. Music deal with your emotion. Music set the tone for you. I can ride in your car 5 minutes and tell what you like. You know how you get in the car and folks be trying to hurry and cut the radio off so you can't hear it? That's what you like. You keep it there all the time. Talk to me, somebody. Music can make you sad, and music can make you glad. Music can slow you down. Music can speed you up. You ever notice when you go to the mall and you go to the department stores, all during the day they playing soft jazz? That's for you to take your time and just walk around, just slow stuff. And about 10 minutes before closing time, they speed it up. They want you to hurry up so you can get out of there. It's time to close. They set the tone with the music. they said the sound of the music, they wanted to deal with their emotions. It was their emotion, but it was in their society. Because it said, I want everybody to bow. Now, everybody didn't believe in Nebuchadnezzar's God, but to get along with him, they bowed. Got to watch how you bow for stuff you don't believe in. I hear too many people say, I don't believe it, but I'm just going along with the crowd. Watch how you hang out with crowds, because most time crowds ain't right. You have to learn sometime to stand by yourself. Crowds dictate to you what you have. You ever watch, you go out to a restaurant with 4 or 5 people, everybody order the same thing? One said, give me this. Next said, give me the same thing. Next, give me the same thing. Next said, give me the same thing. We follow other people. Got to have a mind of your own. If it ain't right, don't agree with it. 4 ladies was out gossiping. They talked about everybody they could come up with. Everybody they thought about, they had some negative to say. One lady started crying. I said, what you crying for? She said, I gotta leave. She said, you hate to leave us that bad and start crying? She said, that ain't what it is. We done talked about everybody. And I know as soon as I walk out the door, y'all gonna talk about me. We have to learn how to stand on our, talk to me somebody. They dealt with the emotions, they dealt with society, because they said everybody bound at the sound of the music. But then they said, and worship. There's only one God we should worship. That's Jehovah. That's Yahweh. That's Elohim. That's El Shaddai. That's Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Salon, Jehovah Sidkenu. That's the God we should worship. Everyone was called upon to bow. But 3 young men refused to bow. In spite of the crowd, 3 refused. Now, when they didn't bow, there's always a peeping Tom. Now, the thing that you got to remember, when they bowed, they didn't bow on their knees like you do. When they bowed, they prostrated themselves on the ground, like one doing push-ups. All they could see was the flow in front of them. My problem is, how did the snitcher know that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't bow? Preach, Reverend Ray. It's because they wasn't paying no attention to what they were doing. They was watching to see what others would do. Now here's the problem. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had been promoted in the kingdom. And if you ever want to have some enemies, get promotions. If you ever want folk to dislike you, get a raise on your job. And ever want folks to dislike you, buy you a new house and let somebody know it. You ever want folk to fall out with you, get married. I wish you had 2 witnesses in this house. You better not look like you're doing all right. You got enemies coming up from everywhere. Because it's hard for people to rejoice in your success. As soon as they see, look like you're doing all right, they start trying to put holes in your success. They got always come up with a reason as to why you got what you got. They said, there's king, You know them three fellas that you promoted? He said, number one, they didn't bow. Number two, they did not regard your God. And number three, they didn't worship your golden image. The king was in a rage. It don't take much for some people to get in a rage. Some people have real short fuses. Least little thing set them off. You walk by them, they mad. Do you know this Negro didn't speak to me? They get upset. You ever seen people like that? Get upset over nothing. It was him. Help me say it was him. A rage. They wouldn't bow. Talk to me, somebody. It's in a rage. It's upset over nothing. Said we have not. We decided, number one, that we're not going to bow. We're not going to bend, and we ain't going to burn. They was in the midst of this fiery furnace. Help me say they was in the midst. It was in the midst of this fiery furnace. They didn't, number one, the king says, listen, our God, whom we serve, is able. Our God, whom we, now watch, he said he is. Verse 5, Shadrach, the king said, what God is able? But in verse 16, he said, it's our God. The king didn't know who this God was. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, he's our God. Have I got anybody here that claim him as being your God? The God that sits high and look low, he is help me say, he's an able God. He's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all you can ask. I think he is an able God. Jude 24 said, now unto him that's able. Philippians chapter 3, verse 20 said, now unto him that's able to do exceedingly abundantly, above all you can ask. I think, now this is one of the powers of God. Matthew 28:18, Jesus came, spake, said, all power. The Greek word is exousia, which means authority. Acts 1:8 said, you shall receive power. The Greek word is dunamis, where you get the word dynamite. Talk to me, somebody. Ephesians 6:10, finally, brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power. The Greek word is kratos. That's demonstrated power. But then it's Ephesians 6:10. It's be strong in the Lord and the power and in his might. The word might is iskos. That's demonstrative, or that's Herculean power. But then when you say able, it's got all the powers together. Jude 24 said, now unto him, now, which is a conjunction, normally it's an adverb. Now unto is a preposition, which is a preposition. Unto him, which is a pronoun, but it is an objective pronoun. That which is also pronoun, but it is a subjective pronoun. Normally in the English language, you never have objective and subjective together. It's either of, never both in. Talk to me, somebody. But when you look at it here, I had some problem when I saw the text. King James said, now unto him that's able. But Greek text said, him able. Bad English, but good theology. Him able. Here is Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego in the fire. The king gave them another chance. Got to give him credit for that, because most people, when you mess up, they don't give you another chance. They wipe you off. I'm through with it. But not so the king. He said, listen, I'm going to give you another chance. At the sound of the music, I want you to bow. But if not, that same hour, you will be cast in the burning fiery furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, so king, we're not careful to answer you. Which meant that they had faith while they was in the fire. Thing that I watched in the text, because of who they were, why would they have to go through what they had to go through? Because I've heard people say, when you're saved, it eliminates all your trouble. I've heard people that say, when you're born again, sickness won't come in your life. I've heard people say, when you're saved, you will live a prosperous life all your life. But can I tell you, you can be saved, still end up in the fire. Do I have a witness? You walking, getting laid off your job, you in the furnace. Ain't got no way to make ends meet, you in the furnace. Talk to me, somebody. You laying in a hospital bed, the doctor said don't look good, you in the fire. But got any help in this house? You end up in a divorce court, lose everything you got, you're in a fire. But I want to tell you, you can be saved and still have to go through the furnace. You can be saved and serving and still have to go through it. Y'all don't believe me? Come here, Job. The Lord himself testified, so there's none like him in the east. He's a perfect and upright man, feared God, shunned the very prince of evil. But Job lost everything he had. You talking about a fire experience. You can be saved. You can be serving, but you can also be separated. In other words, you can separate yourself from the world and still have to go through it. Preach from me. Now, preacher, going through it is bad enough, but tell me, how do I need to handle going through it? Well, if you put suffering, if you try to escape it, you make suffering your enemy. If you try to endure it, you make suffering your master. But if you enlist it, you make suffering your friend. Because we have to understand, whenever we go through, God either wills it or he allows it. I'm preaching, y'all just ain't saying that. God knows what I'm going through before I go through it. And whatever I'm going through, what I'm going through, God is up to something. And whatever he's up to, it's going to come out for my good. It was faith in the furnace. It was a strong faith. You see, different kinds of faith. That's what you call simple faith. Simple faith is, I walked in here, I sit down on a pew. I didn't check to see if it would hold me. I didn't look on the bottom and see if anything on it. I just sit down. That's simple faith. Then there's what you call sustaining faith. I don't know how God do it, but I believe God will supply all my need according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. But then that's what you call saving faith. I don't know how he did it, but I know he died on Calvary. Got up Sunday morning with all power in his hand. That's saving faith. But strong faith is when you can be in a furnace and say, we're not careful to answer you in this matter. He said, but I want you to know our God is able. How many know he's able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O King. He's our God is able to deliver us. But then he said, and he will deliver us. Can I tell you, sometime when you're going through stuff, pull the record and see some of the folk he've already delivered. Do I have a witness? You know, Lord, Moses was at the Red Sea. Rocks and mountains on both sides. Pharaoh's army rushing behind. You know what God did? He delivered him. He brought him across on dry ground because God will deliver. Simon Peter was locked up in jail. They'd already killed James before Easter Sunday. It's getting ready to kill Simon Peter. Acts chapter 12 said God dispatched an angel. Angel came. Peter was sleeping between two soldiers. Angel said, Peter, get up, come go with me. They walked through one set of doors. Peter, half asleep, he said, we ain't gonna be able to get out. That's another set of doors that's locked. The angel said to Peter, keep walking. Made it to the second set of doors, they just opened up. That's the first electric doors in the Bible. Opened up and came back, and they was praying at John Mark's mother house. And while praying that God would release Peter, Peter knocks on the door. Ever got a witness him? Her name was Rhoda. She went to the door and saw it was Peter, left the door locked, ran and told all the prayer warriors, Peter is at the door. Am I here by myself? How many know my God, won't he show up? And when he show up, he'll show out. Matter of fact, I got 2 or 3 witnesses in here this morning can attest to the fact that he will deliver. How many know he will deliver? I got 2 or 3 in here. Feel like turning the flip now. Send out, I am a living testimony that the God I serve, he will deliver. Do I have a witness? I got to quit. But watch what, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said. See, in your faith walk, you got to have a clause in your commitment. Watch what it said in verse 17. But if not. You know, he's saying, I know God will deliver. But if not, I didn't make it up. It's right in the text. I know my God can heal me with what I got, but if not, have I got a witness here? I know God can bring my child out of prison, but if not, have I got any if not folks in this house? Yeah, that means come hell or high water, I'm not gonna bow to no golden image. If God show up now or later, I'm gonna put all my trust in him. Let me take about 30 seconds and let y'all shake hands all around you. So honey, but if not, just tell them, but if not, come on, tell, but if not, I don't know how the outcome gonna be, but if not, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, but if not, I don't know if I'll wake up in the morning, but if not, I'm sold out with the Lord. My heart is fixed, my mind is made up, I'm on my way up. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going to turn around. Do I have a witness? I'll bid y'all good day. The Bible said that while they were down in the fire, oh Lord, that the king, Lord, looked in the furnace, and he was amazed as to what he saw in the fire. He asked one of his servants, how many did we put down in the furnace? They said to him, King, your majesty, we put 3 in. He said, well, can you explain to me, how is it I see 4? Oh Lord, said we put them in 3 bound. In other words, they had handcuffs on, they had leg shackles on, they had to shackle them to keep them from doing damage to the one that put them in the fire. So but now there's no shackles, there's no handcuffs, and they're not bound, they loose, walking around in the fire. Have I got to witness him? I got a couple of things I want to say on my way to my seat. Number one, when did Jesus get in the furnace? Have I got to witness him? They saw him throw 3 in, but tell me when did Jesus get in there? I'll tell you when it was. When Jesus knew that they was going to be in the fire, he went ahead of them and got down in the furnace. He was waiting on them. When they got there, I like that about my God. He will go ahead of you and be there for you. The old preacher used to say that what God did, he went down with a Hosanna fan and fanned the furnace dry. But God didn't do that because the people that threw him in there they got burned by the fire. But what God did was he conditioned the boys to stand the fire. Can I tell y'all this morning, the God I serve, he will condition you. Do I have a witness to stand whatever the devil throw your way, and won't he wrap you up? Won't God wrap you up? He may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. Have I got a witness? You see, all they lost was what the world put on them. Have I got a witness? They came out unhurt. They came out unhindered. They came out unbound. But they came out unalone. That's all I got to tell you. They came out, help me say, unalone. The God I serve, won't he work it out for you? I said, won't he do it? Won't God do it? He may not come when you want him, but he's always I just want to holler one time for me. Always. Always. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When your faith get in the fire, you got to walk on by faith. We cannot see in the future. We cannot see through dark clouds. But one thing we can do is walk on by faith. On Monday, walk on. On Tuesday, walk on. Let Jesus be your guide. He's able to carry your load. He can see way down the road. Walk on. Hallelujah. It's about eyes are closed.